Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Shake Those Kilos webinar. And I'm going to explain to you today about weight loss and about why we struggle to lose it and how come we struggle to keep it off after we've lost it. And then after we've had a chat about that, some of the reasons for weight gain. And the big thing that I want people to know is it's not your fault. And we've got a real blame of blame, a real culture of self-blame going on out in our society now. We hear lots of things like it costs the health budget this much, and the reality is we're all human beings and it's not actually our fault. There's reasons why we put on weight. So I want to reassure you that it's not your fault and there are reasons. And I want to explain to you how the Shake It program works that I use and why it's different to other programs that you may have tried before. And then at the end, there will be some time for questions if anyone has any questions. If you're watching the replay, you can always email me questions or pop them into the chat. Very happy to always answer questions. So first of all, a little bit about myself. My name is Jodie Campbell. I am an experienced naturopath. I am also a nurse. I have 30 years experience as a nurse, both an enrolled nurse and a registered nurse after I went to university and did a Bachelor of Nursing. And this year it's exciting because I'm not renewing my nursing registration. I'm going to work as a naturopath full-time. It's a wonderful feeling. And it's a wonderful feeling because we help people in a different way to the medical field. So I get to help people change their lifestyles and prevent disease, which is far, far more fulfilling than helping people once they're already sick. Yes, as a naturopath, I do see people who have already got health problems, but often it's about helping them through those lifestyle changes to be able to get rid of the problem that they've got. And also, working with medicine when we need to as well. So both go hand in hand, really. Okay, a bit about my story. So I personally have, as you can see, I'm not a small person. So I'm probably about 5'6", roughly, I think. 168 centimetres, something like that. I'm not really good at measurements. So I'm average to tall. I carried weight for most of my life, and it probably became more an issue for me in my teens, and may have too been not as big an issue as what I felt it was. And this is a part of we often see ourselves differently to how everyone else sees us. So that's when my weight gain and obesity journey began. And unfortunately, I didn't have, as a nurse, I had my nursing knowledge, but I didn't have the knowledge about nutrition and about herbal medicine and the other things that go with that I had back then. And I actually developed chronic disease quite young. So in my 30s, I was pre-diabetic, and purely because of my diet and the weights that I had carried. So what I also want to share with you is I have an extensive trauma history from childhood that I'm not going to go into now. But life for me in my teens and my childhood, my teens was a period of recovery, but it wasn't because I wasn't able to get that support. And as many children do, we keep secrets. So it wasn't really until I hit my 20s that I started a journey of recovery. And still to this day, I'm on a journey of recovery. So what I want you to know and what I'm going to explain about that as we talk on is that trauma and stress link in to weight gain. Okay. Now, some people don't eat when they're stressed and traumatized. and they lose weight and they stay thin. So we can never look at someone and think, oh, you're thin, that's healthy, because it's not actually, it can be very unhealthy to be thin, and there can be a thin person who actually is very unhealthy in their body and in size. Size actually doesn't mean or define our health. Okay, so that's a really good way of starting it. And for me, as a naturopath and as a nurse in the past, I'm about health. I'm not about people being thin or skinny. It's about being healthy. So if you carry a little bit of weight, but you are healthy, that's actually fine with me. Okay, because we're about being healthy, and that's emotional and physical health. All right, so I'm going to sort of get into it a little bit now. Weight gain often happens over time, and the big thing that's amazing is that we expect, you know, we might have put on 20 kilos, 40 kilos during a 40-year period, but we expect to get rid of that in a couple of months. All right, the realities of that is that it's unrealistic. You know, what we have taken a long time to occur in our body is going to take a fair amount of time to reverse and change as well. And if you're in the weight loss, if you're into weight loss and you're wanting to lose it, it's going to be a long-term challenge to get that weight off. Okay, so how does stress and trauma in particularly link in to weight gain? Why am I sitting here saying weight has got something to do with stress and trauma? Well, that's because high cortisol levels, cortisol is a steroid. It's produced by our adrenal glands. It's endogenous to our body. We make it in our body. Cortisol has a really important role in our body. It actually helps us to get the energy and the speed and the focus that we need to actually escape from a dangerous situation. It's called the fight or flight response. So that's when, you know, something happens and we all of a sudden have to get out of the situation. It often makes us feel, we might feel our heart pounding, we might sometimes, you know, you can just, some people even become startled and they can't do anything due to that fight or flight response. So the whole aim of that, it's actually got a really purposeful aim. It comes from our primal area or years in evolution when we were living out in the middle of nowhere, and lions and tigers and things like that were a major risk to our safety and well-being. So it meant that we had that ability to get away in a hurry, climb a tree, do whatever we had to save ourselves. The problem in our modern world is we are surrounded by stress and trauma everywhere. Most people will have some level of trauma in their lives. It might range from something quite, might be low level, like maybe an accident, falling and breaking an arm, or as a child or something like that, through to the far more serious traumas. Most people will have had more than one trauma, and many, or we're probably a proportion of society, not many, I shouldn't say, will have had multiple traumas, especially by the time they get, to their 40s, 50s, 60s, where they've had to deal. And I'm talking, traumas can be, and stresses can be anything from a financial stress of going broke and having to deal with that, to losing a loved one, to having a car accident, to child abuse. The range is huge. It doesn't cut off. It still affects us emotionally. So when these traumas happen, this cortisol gets released. The problem is that in the recovery period, for some of us, and then during our lives, more stresses and traumas happen, and we might not get the treatment we need to actually learn how to calm ourselves down and control it. So that cortisol that I was talking about, the steroid that our body produces, becomes being produced all the time. So the problem with that is it increases, cortisol causes the release of adrenaline. Adrenaline makes our heart pump faster so that we can run faster from what we need to get away from. The problem is when our heart pumps faster and we've got all that adrenaline there, we know we need energy. So the body then will make sure it releases any sugars that it's got available, stored away in the body or in the blood already, and increase our sugar level in our blood. Our body senses that and it will produce a hormone called insulin into the body, into the bloodstream. And that insulin binds to receptors of the cells. We're all made up of cells, so that it binds to the receptor and opens the gate into the cell for the sugar to go into the cell. And then a process happens where the sugar is turned into energy. Okay? And it's either used or it's stored away, depending on how much is there. The problem is that having that high level of sugar in the blood, because you're constantly aroused with this high cortisol, being in the fight and flight response for prolonged periods of time, months, years, causes those insulin cells with a constant high sugar and high insulin levels in the blood to become lazy. They become resistant to the insulin. So they're like, you're always here, I'm not opening the gate. I'm not going to let the sugar in. And that is a major issue, because that means that we can't make the energy we need. Now, insulin resistance is a part of diabetes type 2. And this is it's all linked. It's a major issue. We find that if you're someone who's carrying your weight around your abdomen, around your hips, quite likely that you have some level of insulin resistance going on. A part of the problem too is that we have really, really highly refined diets these days, and our bodies haven't had time to evolve to be able to handle really high levels of sugar. The manufacturers have worked out that our taste buds like sugar and we like fat. So if you put the combination of sugar and fat together, we will crave more and more of it, and they can sell more and more of those products simply because that suits our taste buds and makes us want more. So, given that we know that these receptors become lazy and won't open the gates into the cells to make energy, what happens is the body can't make energy, so it keeps saying, I need more sugar because I make energy from sugar. So those cells want more and more sugar in the bloodstream, glucose, to make energy. So then your taste buds will crave what you need to make energy. So those foods we were just talking about is the foods when you're walking down the supermarket aisle and you're feeling hungry, or if you pop into the 7-Eleven to grab some petrol and you're standing at the counter, they're the things that you're going to be looking at, the things that have got lots of sugar, because, you know, your breads, your cakes, your pastries, your lollies, your chocolates, your sweet drinks, milk drinks, Big M's, that sort of thing, because you'll be wanting that sugar to make energy. And rightly so. Your body can't make energy. It wants to make energy. You need energy to get away from the lion or the tiger that's out there. So it's an instinct, it's primal, and there's nothing we can do to actually change that process. Having said that, and there's also, before I go on, there is another part of that too, with the adrenal glands continually pumping out all of that cortisol, the steroid that we talked about earlier. The adrenal glands become fatigued over time. So if you're getting out of bed, struggling in the morning, waking up and thinking, I don't want to get out. So you're waking up tired after you've had a full 8 hours sleep, but can't work out why you're waking up tired. Very, very likely that your adrenal glands are really, really tired. If you can't find the energy during the day to do the things you want to do, you're feeling down, you're not motivated, really all related into that adrenal fatigue. So it's really, really important to learn about it and learn how to to support your adrenal glands so that you don't have to get out of bed feeling miserable every day, feeling like you haven't had, you know, that night's sleep you need, and you're heading off to work having to take 2 coffees in the morning to get yourself awake and bright enough to get into work and do the jobs that you need to do. So I hope that's helpful in understanding why stress and trauma is linked to our hormones. The other thing is that that imbalance of sugar then has a ripple effect on our gut health. Too much sugar actually kills off all of the good bacteria. We have good and bad bacteria in our body. We've found that bacteria is very important in a lot of processes in our body, and particularly for digestion. So if you are having too much carbohydrate in your diet, it's likely that your gut health will be very, very poor. And that's another reason why we need to improve things. When I say gut health very, very poor, I'm meaning things like, you know, your guts become more permeable, so leaking of things into your bloodstream, which is candida and things like that happening, simply because your gut health's so poor, it's made the cells let things in that they shouldn't let in. Also, if with poor gut health, we find that people don't absorb their vitamins and minerals like they should from their food. So they might even make change and be eating really nutritious food, but still their gut health is so poor, they can't actually absorb the vitamins and minerals that they need, which is the whole reason we eat food in the first place. So it becomes a bit of a cycle, really. So another reason that I feel that is people really struggle, and this links into actually losing the weight initially, but then also maintaining the weight down the track, is that we often don't have accountability. So we want to make that change, but the drivers for our sweet tooth, because our body's wanting to make energy and all that sort of thing, requires some discipline. And we need to do some goal setting, and we need to be supported, and we need to be coached along the way. It's like anything, you know, if you want to be a really good basketballer or a good footballer, you go and get a coach. You get someone who knows how to get you to where you want to go. You want to have a good business, you get a business coach. Well, it's the same with your health. If you want to actually achieve the goal to actually feel better and not have the health problems that you've got and lose the weight that you've got, you're going to need someone to coach you along. And that's what I, as a naturopath, do. I help you to set the goals. I give you the tools. I help you to understand how you can make a change, how you can set that goal that you would like to achieve and be able to make that happen over time. And you then become accountable, because you have to come to an appointment every week, or you might show up online, because I do most of my appointments online, and you need to be accountable because, you know, you've lived your week and you know you've got your appointment, so you'll need to weigh in, and you'll be wanting to see change. You'll be wanting to see you've paid money to see me. You'll be wanting to see that you're getting some benefit from actually taking these steps you're taking. So that's about you putting in what you need to actually achieve your goal. And I suppose an example is I'm learning the bagpipes at the moment, which is a bit unusual. And it's a challenge that I started as a child and missed out. Mum never kept taking us to lessons. So now in my adulthood, I've always thought, oh, I love the bagpipes. I would really like to learn. So I decided recently that I would start learning. So I have a lesson every week with an instructor, a teacher, and I have to make sure that I've practiced through the week, that I've made some time each day to actually practice. Otherwise, when I show up for my teaching appointment, I actually don't improve. And that affects him and it affects me, because he thinks, well, why am I bothering? And I think, well, gee, I'm never going to get any better. And the good thing is that he's then able to put me back on track and encourage me to think, he like will pick up that Jodie hasn't practiced. She sounds the same as she did the week before. Why hasn't she practiced? So then he can go through a process of trying to work out with me why I need to practice and what's come in the way of doing that. So these are things, although it's much more complex with health problems and weight loss, these are the things that we do as naturopaths to help you get back on track. And I can help you through that process, help you revisit your goals and help you vision what it's going to be like once you get to your goal. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm probably going to explain a little bit. If you've got any questions about what I've just spoke about, you'll be watching this on a replay because the recording I did on the night, it wasn't good enough to be able to send out to everyone. So I'm actually doing another recording. So I really thank you for signing up and providing your details to me for my program. I do promise I won't spam you at all. I will send out a newsletter every now and then, and I will, give you a call and follow up and make sure that you're doing okay with your health. My aim is to help people. I simply want to help you get where you need to go. So the Shake It program is, I think, an excellent program. There's lots of weight loss programs around, and you all would have most people, before they ever come to see a naturopath, have tried nearly everything there is in the way of weight loss and suffer the frustration of not being able to get those kilos off. What I can really tell you is, as a naturopath, I see things more than just weight loss. So if you come to me and you're saying the weight just won't budge and I don't know why, I will then be thinking, okay, what's going on for this person? And I'll be having a look at things like your thyroid, your other health issues, that your gut health, other health issues that may be impacting and causing or be the cause of why that weight won't budge. So I don't see it in isolation, okay? But the weight loss program that I'm talking about today, that I run in my clinic, is the Shake It program. So the Shake It program is, I can show you, this is the guidebook. The Shake It program is real food, sustained results, long-term wellness with practitioner advice and support. So you haven't got someone that's just done a few weeks course to become a weight loss consultant. You've actually got someone supporting you through that actually has done a good couple of years of education to get an advanced diploma or a bachelor in health, in naturopathy, and for my case, in nursing. Okay, so I've been to university, I understand health, I understand the psychology behind it, I understand how to link the emotional stuff into what's happening for you as well. So really, really important. It's not just having someone that's gone and done a little course that's put on by one of the other many programs that are out there to train someone into a consultant. There is actually in Australia no qualifications required. It's an unregulated industry to become a weight practitioner. A little scary when we think about it, because when someone fronts up for weight loss, they usually front up with other health conditions as well, and they need more support and more screening for safety than just a tick and flick of, well, let's sell this program to you. So first of all is, as I mentioned earlier, this program isn't a lose weight quickly, amazing, 5-minute crash diet that's going to turn you from a size 18 to a size 12 in 4 weeks. This is actually a sustained weight loss program. It's actually aiming to make long-term healthy change. Yes, depending on how strict you are on yourself, your results will vary. So some people will drop a dress size in a couple of weeks, purely because they've really been very disciplined in what they've done. Other people's journey will be slower. So it really is dependent on what you put in to what you get out. So the way the program works is, when I say shake those kilos, there is a shake involved, okay? The reason we have a shake involved is making sure that you're getting all of those vitamins, minerals, things that you need, that your body needs to be able to function optimally, okay? So the shake in this case comes in a tub like this, and it's a body composition shake, which is a protein shake made by one of my suppliers. and it's naturopathic. So as you can imagine, it's full of good stuff and it's not full of artificial, and there's no sugar in it. It's actually a healthy meal alternative. They come in 3 flavours, or 2 flavours, a vanilla or a chocolate. There is this one I've just showed you is a dairy-based, so the vanilla or chocolate in dairy-based. And then there is a chocolate that is non-dairy-based for those that have a dairy allergy, which is many of us. And I also have pea protein shake and a collagen shake as well for other people who have special dietary needs. So I can pretty much cover everybody's dietary needs with this. So the shake is only a part of the program. As I said, the program is a real food program. It is simply 1 meal replacement per day of shake. So you can have that for lunch, breakfast or dinner. It really depends on you and what you would like, how you would like it to be. Some people don't eat breakfast until later. Other people can't stomach breakfast, so they could have the shake probably mid-morning just to make sure that they're getting that. Then you'll have 2 meals a day. Your 2 meals a day consist of a palm size piece of protein. That's if you're on the keto program. I'll explain this in a minute. I'm explaining keto at the moment. I'll explain low fat in a moment. So depending on your body type and your symptoms that you present with, I will work with you to help decide what is the best stream for you, whether it's a low fat meal plan or whether it's a ketogenic meal plan. So the ketogenic is not like you see on some of the Facebook groups and things that you see on the internet. It is not crazy, let's eat huge burgers covered in huge amounts of cheese and we eat nothing else but that. I've seen some really awful stuff out there, dangerous, silly stuff. Everything we do should be about nutritional balance, not about eating crazy amounts of things. So you'll have a palm size. So your palm is about the right size. Piece of protein. So that's meat, fish, chicken, eggs, pork, turkey, lamb, whatever, beef, whatever you decide to have, piece of protein. At lunch and dinner, or if you have breakfast and you have a shake for lunch, but obviously 2 meals a day with a palm-sized piece of protein. And then you'll have at least a minimum of 3 vegetables that come off of your shopping list. You'll get a food list, which we call the shopping list. You don't have to buy everything on it. You'll select what you want off of there, but it makes it easy for you to go off and get what you need for your program. And you'll have at least a minimum at your meal of 3 vegetables with that. So there might be salad vegetables, there might be steamed vegetables, you might fry them in a pan, all sorts of things, okay? You'll need to have some good fats with that as well. And good fats is when I say olive oil that hasn't been heated. You can use avocado, some nuts, all sorts of things. So there'll be a list, on your food list of the foods the oils that you need to include. Now, your good fats are really important because they, are essential for omega-3s so that we're getting the antioxidants we need in our body. Fats actually help to build the walls of our cells. They actually help to make the hormones that we have. And we see a lot of people very deprived of having hormone balance and things because they simply don't have enough fat in their diet. So it's really important to have enough good fats in your diet so that your hormones are being made and are good quality hormones, that you're making the cell walls are nice and strong because you've got the cholesterol that makes up the cell walls. So there's lots of really important things about having lots of good fats. And you'll have 2 snacks. So you have one shake a day, 2 meals a day that are going to consist of a protein and 3 vegetables minimum. And you will have your 2 snacks a day. Now, we do have a meal replacement or snack bar, which you can have half of the snack bar. Or if you want to use, instead of having the shake, you can have the meal replacement bar, which it's a chocolate bar that's made up of good stuff. So I send everything out as a kit to you if you decide to give the program a go. Once you've had your initial consultation and paid for the program, you'll receive a kit which will have everything. And I always include about 4 of those bars just for you to try, so you know what they're like. Okay. So in that, and you'll get 2 tubs of shake in your kit as well, flavour of your choice. And depending on whether you're dairy intolerant or non-dairy, that will also. Okay, and then you'll need to have at least 2 litres of water a day, or 6 to 8 glasses of water per day. And you'll also need to make sure that you get good quality sleep. That's the other important thing. You'll also make sure that you walk or do cycling or some sort of exercise is recommended. I will say, if you've got a disability or something that actually limits your mobility and your ability to do things, you don't have to do that. I work with you in a different way to try and help you. But if you're a normal, able-bodied person, we know that exercise is good for our mental health and our physical health. So we do recommend 3 times a week minimum you have a walk, or, for at least, 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, it is important. The other thing that you'll get in your kit is a lovely cookbook, which is this book, the Shake It book, and it's filled with beautiful recipes. There's even some desserts. There's just really, really lovely cookbook. There's over 250 pages of recipes in that book. It's a lovely bound book. And you'll also have access to the Shake It website as well. And I recommend most of my clients to use the MyFitnessPal app so that you can keep a track of your weight loss and a diary of what's happening. I will give you a paper-based diary as well that you'll be able to fill in what you eat and keep a record of your meals and things like that. So that's pretty much how the Shake It program works. Now, there's some finer details to the program. If you're on a low-fat diet, you'll have a different meal plan to what I just explained with the ketogenic diet, because you're allowed to have more grains and rice and things like that involved, but it's whole foods. So instead of white rice, you'd be having brown rice, that sort of thing. But it's about healthy eating once again, and whole foods, which I will work with you to help you work out. The rest of the process is the same: 2 meals a day, 2 snacks a day, 1 shake a day. Now, all of this is for the first 6 weeks. It's called the intensive program. So for 6 weeks, you do this, as I've just explained: 1 shake a day, 2 meals a day, 2 snacks a day, and 6 to 8 glasses of water. You'll test your urine with your ketone sticks if you're on the ketogenic program, just to make sure that you're in ketosis. And we like you to be in about 1.5. Okay, so after you've done the 6-week intensive program, we go on to a different phase called phase 2 of the program, and that's about pulsing. So when I say pulsing, I'm meaning that you don't have the shakes any longer. You can still use them if you like, and I do set that up so you can order them if you want to, and they're just delivered to your door, but you don't have to have them. And what we want you to be doing is eating real food and still getting weight loss results. And you'll have the first 2 weeks of your pulsing is you're on a normal diet. You're just eating normal at home as you would normally eat. Hopefully you're making some healthy changes to what you eat that you've learned along the way. Okay, we want you to actually just maintain. So you don't lose weight during that stage, you just maintain. If you do lose weight, well, that's a bonus, but if you don't, that's fine. You just maintain. We don't want you to put on. If you're putting on, then we need to go back and look at the reasons why you're putting on, the types of foods you're eating, the portions, that sort of thing. Then after you have the 2-week break, you go back on to being strict for 2 weeks, and you'll have 3 meals a day if you're not having the shake, in the way that I said: a small piece of protein, a minimum of 3 vegetables, your 2 snacks a day, And you'll do that for 2 weeks. And we want you to lose over this time. And then once again, after that, you'll go back on to 2 weeks of not dieting and eating a normal diet, being mindful about what you're eating and conscious of the foods you're eating. Now, the reason we do this is, for one, we want you to become mindful for the future of how easy it is to put on the weight and how you need to eat differently in order to maintain your weight. So we're thinking about the long-term benefits of your weight loss. The other reason we do it is that it's research-based. So we know that when people go onto diets, through some research they did in World War II, that when they thought they were going to run out of food, so they starved some soldiers in America, and they found that these men, because they want to know what the minimum amount was that people could eat, if we went into a serious depression and they didn't have food available. So they found that these men actually ate huge amounts of food, more than they ever needed, once they finished their diet. They also found that whilst they were on the diet, they became totally obsessed with food. They collected recipe books, they collected utensils, they collected anything, ingredients, anything to do with food, they collected, and they thought about food 24/7. So when they came off the diet, they just ate 10, 20 times what they needed to eat in order to get back to what we call their set point, which is the weight that they were before they started dieting. So what this does is lowers your set point, and that's why this pulsing is so important, because we want to lower that set point from what it was back when you first weighed in and started, lower it down to a more healthy weight range. And if you do this pulsing long term, their research on the evidence they've got is saying that it's more likely that you will maintain your weight long term. So that's why, and that's the secret behind it, that's why we like you to do the pulsing. Okay, so I hope this was valuable information for you. I invite any of you who are interested to contact me. My website is naturopathy.com.au. You'll have a link to my website you can book an appointment with me directly online. If you need, I don't charge, or I don't have the availability to book a consult for Shake It online directly, because most people want to talk about it first, and I'm happy to do that as a complimentary consultation. So the way to book that would be to book the free 15-minute chat with me, which is totally free, no obligation, and you're not pushed into doing anything that you're not comfortable or not ready to do. I work on an honesty basis. As a part of that, I will tell you the cost of the program, because I think that's the main thing that most people think, yeah, how much does this cost? And I'm not, as a person, I'm very ethical and very honest, and I don't hide my prices from anyone, to be fair. And this program is really competitive. Weight loss programs are very expensive historically. This program is very affordable. It's $899 for a 10-week program. I sell a 10-week program and a 5-week program. Obviously, if you do the 5-week program, you're only really doing your intensive program, but that's a choice that you can make at the time depending on the amount of weight that you need to lose. And a 5-week program is $499. So you do save a little bit by doing a 10-week program, but that's also because there's not as much cost involved for me as a practitioner, because all of your kit and everything is supplied to you, and that the increased time required getting you started and that sort of thing is all done at the start of the program. So, as I said, very affordable. Most weight loss programs are well and truly in excess of $100 a week. And then often there's food costs and things involved, or if that's just a food program, you may be paying, closer to $200 a week. So it is very affordable program. If you do the 10-week program, once you've lost your weight, or if you do the 5-week program and your weight loss goal is only 5 kilos, I then put you onto my long-term program so that I help you get to your goal weight and help you maintain it for $35 a week. Okay, that is just simply covering your consultation each week to weigh in with me and get that encouragement, be accountable, that type of thing. So it's affordable and easy for people to be able to do long term. So once you've done your 10 weeks, or as I said, 5 weeks with only 5 kilos to lose as a goal, if you're on the 5-week program, then it's just simply $35 a week after you've done your 10-week or your 5-week program. So that's about it. I do have a special for anyone who does join up, who has been inquired about the webinar that I ran on Wednesday night, that I do have a hormone health reset cleanse that is a wonderful 7-day program with recipe books and everything else involved. And I'm offering that absolutely free as a bonus. Its value is $297. I'm offering it as a bonus to anyone who signs up for one of my Shake It programs from this webinar series. So if you're interested, you will automatically gain access to my Hormone Health Reset program, which is simply, it's a online course. You get all your materials, you get your recipe books and your shopping lists and all that sort of thing. It's not a weight loss program, so you won't lose weight on that program. It's not designed for that. It's designed to reset your hormone health. So you would get all that and you would have lifetime access to that if you chose to take on a weight loss program in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so that'll be available until the 15th of June. So if you're interested, please let me know, and I'm more than happy. I'll give you the login details and that once you've signed on to your weight loss program. Okay, so I hope the knowledge that I've provided helps you to make some really good decisions around your health. I hope that you consider working with me and that I could be of benefit to your health in the long term. I also want you to know that I'm actually personally doing the program as well. So you're not having someone who's never experienced the program working with you. I find it to be enjoyable, and I certainly have lots more energy since I started it. So I'm actually doing the ketogenic stream simply because I have some insulin resistance, and that actually works well for my body. So yeah, look forward to hearing from you. Hope that you have a lovely weekend, as it's Friday today, and really look forward to hearing more. And any questions you've got, please feel free to send me an email or a text message. More than happy. I will probably give you a follow-up text message or phone call in the next few days. And there's no hard sell. Please don't be fearful of me giving you a call. I simply just want to know that you got value from what I've offered today. All right. So thank you very much for your time, and I really look forward to hearing from you in the future. Bye.